If you clicked on this video thinking, don't get all political on me, why are you all of the sudden getting into these big issues? It's a drawing channel. Well, I've always been about these big issues, I've just been super subtle about it. You think that me talking about when I fasted with Muslims during Ramadan was just for fun? No, I was trying to denormalize Islamophobia by sharing their perspective. One of my very first videos was about drawing clothes, and I managed to sneak in a drawing of Donald as Jabba the Hutt, strangling the Statue of Liberty in chains. So let's start with how a person like me starts out racist, because I think this is a big deal. People with good hearts are finding themselves to be more racist than they thought they were. How does this happen? Does that mean I'm a bad person? Let's get into that. First off, you should probably check the links in the description before you watch this video, but let's get into this. The rest of this video might be hard to hear. I'm going to be speaking from a racist point of view. Okay. Us white people don't like to talk about racism. It's uncomfortable and it brings up feelings of guilt. We're afraid of being called racist, so we shut down and stop listening. Especially because of cancel culture, we're afraid that if we say anything, we'll be jumped on by the K-pop stans and shamed forever. It's easy for us to feel attacked. We're just going about our day, and then bam, George Floyd dies, and all of a sudden we're racist? I know I've already divided the audience, but I'm not done. I grew up in a white family, in a white neighborhood, and went to a white school. Probably like 75% of my school was white, and the majority coming from Christian and conservative families. We grew up with guns, beer, hunting, and above all else, respecting the flag and our brave soldiers and veterans. I was taught that people of all races were God's children and deserved the same human rights. Racism is bad, and that we should trust cops because they're the good guys and they're here to protect us. And also, we didn't talk about people who live in the ghetto because that's a them thing. In school, we had some Black history art and stuff put on the wall in the hallway during February. We learned that Abraham Lincoln was a hero for abolishing slavery, Rosa Parks was a hero for standing up against segregation, and Martin Luther King Jr. was a hero because he gave black people equal rights. At this point, I probably have two types of viewers. Some of you who are saying, yeah, thank you, I grew up the same way, everyone is equal. And some of you who are absolutely incredulous right now. You're saying, obviously slavery, segregation, and racial inequality still exist. They're the fuel this country runs on. Are you kidding me? And you're just gonna forget about my girl Claudette Colvin? She's still alive, bro. And cops are here to protect you if you're white and middle class. Do you not understand what happens with the rest of the world outside of your white bubble? And that, ladies and genders, shows how two people who both have kind hearts can find themselves on complete opposite sides of this. The difference is education, how much you know. Tai Lopez was right. It's all about knowledge, and school didn't teach me anything. It's super easy for us to ignore and deny the things that are happening because that's how we were taught. School is not an education, it's an indoctrination. If you want an education, you have to do it yourself. That's the sad truth. If you want to be educated, you have to make the choice to educate yourself. But if you have the ability and desire to teach yourself how to draw, you can do the same thing with the big issues too. And I've done that with everything from how to draw Shrek to how America has legalized slavery. Yeah. We hear words like racism, ignorance, white privilege, and white supremacy, and alarm bells go off. We feel attacked. But to my fellow white people, let me explain those words. Racism doesn't necessarily mean that we bully people for the color of their skin. We know that we're compassionate and not bullies. Ignorance doesn't mean that we're dumb. We know we're intelligent. Privilege does not mean that we have an easy life. We have lots of stress and heavy problems that we deal with every day. And white supremacy doesn't literally translate to just mean hate groups like the KKK or the Nazis. It can be more subtle, like the fact that white non-Hispanic Americans make up about 60% of the American population, but then you look at these numbers. Racism means that we're doing things to help keep black people oppressed, and ignorance means no one explained to us that it's happening, let alone how it's happening. After all, given the way that we grew up, it's not surprising to think that it's not really as bad as people keep saying that it is. And that's where I want us to focus on the other vocab word, privilege. Now, when we hear white privilege, That hurts. It feels like we're being attacked because of nothing more than the color of our skin. We didn't choose to be white, so why are you going to attack us for being white? It's not our fault. We were born this way. Boom! That's how black people feel. They didn't choose to have black skin, yet they get treated differently because of it. Okay, so why are you attacking me because I'm white? You can't fight racism with racism. Listen, we're not being attacked. If someone tells us that we have white privilege, that's not an attack on us. There's no reason to have any defenses up. But even still, we don't like to be told that we're privileged, do we? Especially if our life actually sucks. Are you saying that just because I'm white, that means I'm happy? And the only reason you're not happy is because you're black? You can't just blame all your problems on your skin. No. I see that you're struggling. Your life is hard. Especially Gen Z coming up, a lot of us already have depression and other mental health issues. I struggle with depression. Some of us grew up with abusive parents and don't have a safe home. Some of us are bullied every day. Some of us live in super low income neighborhoods. Some of us struggle just to make it through the day. And some of us are wondering right now if we even have the strength to make it to tomorrow. I know what that feels like. You deserve to be happy. You deserve better. No one is saying that we don't face these issues every day. When we hear someone say that we have white privilege, it means that everyone goes through these issues, right? But the color of our skin does not add extra issues on top of all that. Well, what are these extra issues then? Because I have black friends and I see black people rising to success even out of the ghetto, so what's the big deal? And for that, I would like to pull up a quote. I don't know who said it first, but it goes like this. It's a privilege to learn about racism instead of experiencing it your whole life. That's where you start to hear these $10 vocab words like systemic racism, gentrification, racial profiling, decolonizing education, covert racism, all good things to Google, by the way. As a white dude who grew up the way I did, I didn't have to experience the effects of those from the day I was born. I got to learn about them on my own outside of school because I made the choice to do that. Black people don't have a choice. Even if no one teaches them, they learn through experience, whether they like it or not. And as I've had more diverse friends as I got older and older, I started to see the effects of some of those vocab words on my friends. Even if they didn't say anything to me about it, I could see it. I have this vivid memory from when I was a kid. My heart rate would get a little faster when the black cashier said hi, or the black baker asked if I wanted a free cookie from the bakery. And I remember it so vividly because I didn't have that heart rate spike when the white people in the store would talk to me. And that's after being taught that racism is bad and that all God's children are created equal. Racism isn't a surface level problem. It's super deep and the roots go everywhere. And it takes hold of those of us who think we know better. And it's definitely not a problem that should be put on black people to solve by themselves. White people need to take responsibility too. And I'm still finding racist views that I hold to this day. And there's more that I can do on this channel to help promote diversity of all kinds. White people, it goes so deep, it's like scooping water out of a sinking boat. It's like, you get to a certain point and you think you're good, but it keeps filling up. You got to always be looking critically at yourself. And if you're not open to the possibility that you might be racist, you're almost definitely racist. So I agree that it's exhausting seeing all this stuff on social media. These are really heavy topics, and it would be easier if we could just scroll through some memes and get away from all this, right? But people of color, and especially black people, don't get to escape it. We are exercising a freedom that they don't have. How, though? Black people can scroll through memes too. They can escape it. I am so glad you said that, because these are the things white people need to talk with each other about. The first thing is to make the choice to educate yourself. Don't know where to start? The first link in my description has a whole section on education and even a how to be an ally page for us clueless white people who want to help but don't know how. 2. If you want to test how thick that white privilege fog is around you, click on the second link. It'll take you to a YouTube video of a social experiment done by Jane Elliot. And anyone who has ever been a victim of racism can relate to this so hard. Trust me, the Jane Elliot experiments are a chef's kiss and a half. The third link is to a film called 13th, which is a good first step to learning about our incarceration system. And if you don't think that's relevant, just watch it and you'll understand. It's especially useful when someone talks to you about black people being criminals. And the bonus link at the bottom is a super simplified animated video explaining systemic racism, which is some terminology that I'm sure you've heard thrown around a lot lately. If you have any questions about race, I would encourage that. I want all the comments to be polite, so that means both the people commenting and the people replying. If it's a genuine question, let's welcome it and be respectful in our replies. If it's hate, ignore it. Don't waste your energy on trolls, Internet 101. If it appears like I deleted your comment and all you did was ask a question, I didn't delete it. Sometimes YouTube does that when there's a controversial word in there or something. Just rephrase it and ask again. I'm not deleting it. And actually that goes with all my videos. Now, if you're afraid of someone you live with, don't have these hard conversations with them if you're not safe. Learning in silence can be a way to rebel against them too. Please stay safe. I'll be back with another video, so sit tight. We got some things to talk about. I love you all so much. Hang in there.